Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a really influential book, Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Ah, yes, a big one.
It really is. It's captivated millions, hasn't it? The promise is unlocking this incredible power of small changes for, well, huge long-term results.
Absolutely.
So our mission here is to pull out the most crucial, the most actionable bits from this book.
Yeah.
Give you a kind of shortcut to understanding his core ideas, maybe put them to work.
Sounds like a plan.
I mean, it's kind of astonishing when you look at the numbers. This isn't just some book.
No, it's a phenomenon.
Over 10 million copies sold, 50-plus languages, always at the top of the personal development charts.
Mm-hmm.
You hear everyone recommending it, CEOs, athletes, students, creators. Everyone seems to find something in it.
Yeah, it's got broad appeal.
So the big question for me is, what is it? What makes this book so popular, so sticky, and, apparently so effective for actually improving yourself?
Well, I think what really makes it stand out is how Clear frames the central argument. He really cuts through a lot of that self-help noise.
How so?
He argues that real lasting change, it doesn't come from these massive dramatic overhauls that honestly most of us just can't keep up.
Right, the whole new year, new me thing that fizzles out by February.
Exactly. Instead, he says true transformation comes from consistently building tiny, almost insignificant habits. But these habits, they compound over time into something, well, huge.
Like compound interest, but for your life.
Precisely. And it's not just, a nice idea. He backs it up with science-based methods. It's about actually rewiring your identity and building solid systems for change.
Okay, that tiny changes idea, that brings us right to what feels like the heart of the book. 1% better every day.
The cornerstone.
Yeah, it sounds so simple, maybe too simple, just 1%. I know my first instinct is always to aim for something big, something immediate.
That's most people's instinct, I think.
So how does this tiny 1% idea actually work in practice?
Yeah.
How does it lead to, significant success down the line?
It really boils down to the power of what Clear calls habit compounding. He puts it very plainly. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. So think about it less like a sprint, more like saving money. Small, consistent deposits. Over time, they grow into something substantial. It's the same with habits.
Okay.
Consistency, even with really small actions, maybe just 5 push-ups a day, or reading 1 page, that consistency will always, always beat intense, scattered efforts.
Like trying to cram a 2-hour gym session once a month, which you probably skip anyway.
Exactly. It's that daily repetition, that rhythm that builds the real foundation.
Okay, so the power is in the consistency, the small steps. But how do habits actually form? How do they stick? Clear talks about this habit loop.
Right, the scientific framework behind it all.
Yeah, can you kind of walk us through that, maybe using an everyday example?
Yeah.
Like maybe my bad habit of checking my phone constantly. How does the loop work there?
Absolutely. And understanding this loop is, it's key for both breaking bad habits and building good ones. It's got 4 stages.
Okay.
So using your phone example, first there's the cue. That's the trigger. Could be a notification sound, a light flashing, or even just a feeling of boredom.
Ah, okay. The trigger.
Then comes the craving. This is the motivation behind it. You're not actually craving the phone itself, but maybe the distraction, the escape from boredom, or that little dopamine hit from a notification.
Right. The feeling you're chasing.
Exactly. After the craving comes the response. That's the habit itself. Picking up the phone, opening an app, scrolling.
The action.
The action. And finally, the reward. This is the satisfaction you get, seeing likes, reading something interesting, just the brief mental shift. And if that reward is positive,
It wires the habit in deeper.
precisely, it reinforces the whole loop, making you much more likely to do it again next time that cue pops up.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So if the cue is the starting pistol, how do we actually, hack the race? This gets us to environment design, right?
Yes, a really powerful strategy.
Where we basically rig our surroundings to help us out. How can we actually do this effectively? Beyond just, hiding the cookie jar.
Well, it really makes you question how much is conscious choice versus just reacting to our environment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Environment design is all about making the cues for your good habits really obvious, and the cues for your bad habits basically invisible.
Okay, so make the good easy, the bad hard.
Exactly. So if you want to eat healthier fruit, don't just have a fruit bowl. Maybe pre-cut the fruit and put it right at eye level in the fridge. Make the easiest thing to grab.
Easier than the chips hidden in the back.
Right. Or for a bad habit, like wanting to read more instead of scrolling. Put your phone in a different room before you even sit down with your book, not just silencing it, actually removing the cue.
Making it invisible.
Making it invisible or at least difficult to access. The whole idea is to change your physical space, to nudge your behavior, make the good habit the path of least resistance.
That's smart. So we've talked about the external stuff, cues, environment,
Mm.
but the book also goes deep on the internal game, this identity change concept.
Ah, yes. This is huge.
A lot of people focus on goals, right? Like, I want to lose 20 pounds or I want to write a book. But Clear argues that's not the most powerful way. Why is focusing on who you want to become more effective?
This is, I think, one of the most profound shifts the book offers. It changes your whole approach.
How so?
Clear puts it brilliantly. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
Wow, okay. A vote.
Yeah, so it shifts the focus away from just the outcome, lose weight, finish book, towards identity-based habit.
So instead of, I want to run a marathon,
You ask, what kind of person runs marathons? Or simply, what would a runner do today?
if you start identifying as a runner, then lacing up your shoes isn't a chore you have to force. It's just what runners do.
It becomes part of who you are.
Exactly. I remember working with someone who wanted to write a novel. Huge goal, right? They kept planning, outlining, but barely wrote.
It's analysis paralysis.
Hmm.
Totally. So we shifted the focus. The new identity was, I am a writer, and the system. Simply open the document and write for 10 minutes every morning. That's what a writer does.
And it worked.
It unlocked everything. Because the motivation wasn't just chasing this distant goal, it was about reinforcing that identity, being that person today. It's a much stronger driver for consistency.
That really reframes things.
Mm-hmm.
It's no wonder Atomic Habits gets such high praise, like that 4.8 out of 5 rating pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Beyond just the practical tips, what do you think really makes it click for so many people?
Yeah, it consistently resonates. I think its biggest strength is how truly actionable the advice is. It's not just theory, it's incredibly easy to grasp and, more importantly, to apply.
Right, you feel like you can actually do this stuff.
Exactly, and it's all grounded in solid science, psychology, neuroscience, but presented with relatable examples, stories. Clear's writing style is very motivational, but it stays practical and never feels like fluff.
Are there any common criticisms, though? Or maybe things people misunderstand?
Well, some readers find that certain core ideas get repeated throughout the book.
Like he hammers the main points home.
Yeah, a little bit, but honestly, I tend to see that less as a flaw and more as maybe a feature. It really helps reinforce those key messages, the 1%, the habit loop, identity, and make sure they actually stick with you rather than just being something you read once and forget.
Like deliberate practice for understanding the concepts themselves.
Kind of, yeah. It helps embed them.
And I suppose that clarity and reinforcement is why it works for such a wide audience, right?
Absolutely.
Students, professionals, people later in life. Anyone looking to make some kind of positive change seems to find value here. The principles are pretty universal.
They really are.
Okay, so let's quickly recap this deep dive into Atomic Habits. We've hit on the surprising power of getting just 1% better every day and how that compounds.
The magic of small gains.
We unpack the habit loop that cue, craving, response, reward cycle that drives all our habits, good and bad.
Understanding the engine.
And we looked at 2 really practical strategies. Environment design, making good habits easy and obvious, and that powerful internal shift towards identity change.
Shaping your world and shaping yourself.
Fundamentally, it's a book showing how tiny atomic changes really can lead to remarkable results.
That's the core message. And maybe, zooming out just a bit, I'd like to leave you, the listener, with one of the book's most, I think, thought-provoking quotes.
Oh yeah, which one?
It's this: you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
Okay, sit with that for a second.
Yeah, just think about what that really means for your life, your ambitions. Are you spending all your energy chasing goals, setting targets? Or are you focusing enough on building the actual systems, the daily habits, that will just naturally carry you towards those goals?
So focus on the process, not just the prize.
Exactly. Getting clear on that difference, understanding that your systems ultimately determine your outcomes, not just your aspirations. That shift in focus can be a real game changer. It's about building a foundation for consistent, sustainable progress, not just aiming for occasional flashes of achievement. Something to definitely reflect on.